Hey y'all. Hey, hey. All right, wait for Dr. Chris to join. Let's see. All right, there you go. Hey girl, how you doing? All right. All right, whenever you're ready.
All right, we ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of It's Say Speak Your Truth. My name is Dr. Chris, and we are back to have a yet session. So last time we talked about just starting where you are. We always try to control things, or we allow our fears to dictate how we're moving because we might be the first to do it. No one in our family has ever done it, and we're kind of, you know, apprehensive about what lies ahead, especially if we've never been exposed to the things that we're trying to do and change. So today we kind of want to continue that conversation or similar to that conversation when we're talking about healing. People say, "Oh, you fake happy." You making it seem like it's so easy to heal. You ain't talking about the real. I think we've been very clear in saying that healing ain't easy. Okay, there's some things that you're going to have to change: behaviors, mindsets, all of these different things that have been passed down to you from generation to generation, and you are stepping forward to change that, not knowing what lies ahead, starting where you are. um we've been very, very adamant and clear about how hard healing is, so we're gonna get a little deeper into that. So Kai.
Ooh, child. Okay. So hey y'all, hey, I'm Kai the Hood Therapist. So just like what Dr. Chris said, we're going to be talking about healing and how healing is different for everybody. Um, so I came up with like this analogy, right? So think about when you were it don't even have to be when you was younger, but let's say you injure yourself, right? So let's say that you have a few injuries. One of them is a scrape, you fell down, you scraped your knee. That's for your first injury. Your second injury, you cut yourself. You was doing something, and you cut yourself. Then you have a third injury, it's a burn, right? So you have three different injuries. All three of those injuries, they're going to take different times to heal. They're all not going to heal at the same rate because the injuries or the infliction of the injuries, they're all different. So, yes, sometimes, on your healing journey, you may heal and get over one thing, faster than you heal from the other things that happen in your life, right? So, yes, you can. All right, so you fall, you scrape your knee. Now, when that injury heals, that one may not leave a scar, right? You may not even remember that you even got it, because there's no evidence left over. So it's something, something small that you get over. Your second injury, you cut yourself. Now, when that injury heals, it may leave a little scar. So every time you look down at that scar, you're going to think about, how you got that injury, but it's still healed, right? It just left a little scar. So it doesn't mean that you're not healed from it because it left a scar behind. It just means that it did something in your life and it caused you, it left a permanent mark, a permanent impression on you. So you're going to think about it sometimes, but just because you think about it, that don't mean that you didn't heal from it. Now, if it still hurts you when you think about it, then no, you're not healed from it. But you're gonna always think and reflect on things that have hurt you. But just because you're thinking about it, that doesn't mean that you didn't heal. So now we're gonna get into your third wound. Now you got a burn. Now you have third-degree burns. That's gonna take the longest to heal out of all three of those wounds. That was going to take the longest to heal, right? So you have to nurture it. You have to, you know, the care for that particular injury is going to be a little different from the first two injuries. You have to put a little more time into it. You have to make sure you're changing the bandages. You have to make sure it doesn't get infected. You have to work and nurse that wound back together. So you may have some wounds that you may have to spend a little more time on to heal. And that's okay. Nothing's wrong with that because you're still healing. It may be a slow process, but it's happening. So once that wound finally heals, you know, you're going to be left with some scars. And those scars may be, you know, the worst out of the three. And you may look at it and you may, you know, feel some kind of way. You know, it may make you feel some kind of way because you don't look the way you used to look. Now you don't feel how you used to feel about yourself because of the injuries that scar, that injury left behind. But it doesn't mean that you're not healed. It just changed you. So now you're aware each of those things that happened in your life, you know, you're going to be cautious about, you know, how you moving forward because you're going to remember what caused those injuries. So yes, everybody has different injuries. Everybody, you know, we're not all healing from the same things. So some people may heal faster, some people may not. But it all comes back to you and how you process, you know, those wounds that you encountered. So that's all I have to say for right now. And then I'm turning it to Dr. Christy if she have anything to add.
I think that's interesting what you just said about, you know, when you look at your scars and you're reminded of how you got that injury and what you had to go through to heal from it. Like she said, it's going to be different for everybody. I've always said, I repetitively have said that my journey is my journey. Kai's journey is her journey. Comparison is the thief of joy. We've always said that. You cannot compare how you heal, how you process, how you deal with things that have happened that you've experienced to how someone else is handling what they've endured, experienced, and overcome. Like, you can't compare because we've all experienced life from a different perspective. We all have different upbringings. We all have different mindsets. We all come from different traumas and things of that nature. So number one, stop comparison. Oh, she healing faster than I am. Okay, good for her. Good for him. Congratulations. I'm really proud of you for putting in the work and doing what you need to do to heal. But that's not how I am healing. Like, I need a little bit more time to dive deeper. I need to cry about it. I need to vent about it. I need to go to therapy. It's going to be a different process for everyone. But that doesn't mean that you are less than or you're not healing because you're not doing it as quickly as someone else or as easily as someone else. I think that's one of the things that I had to learn about the healing journey. Like, me looking at someone else and what they've been through and how it seems like they've overcome it much quicker than something I have been through that I might consider less dramatic or less, traumatizing. We can't do that, right? I can't look at myself and be like, I ain't doing the work because when I look at Kai, she done been through way more than I done been through, and she good. Why can't I get over what I done been through? It's not that deep. I can't do that, right? I can't. Similarly to you. You cannot compare your journey of what you're going through and how you're trying to heal from it to what somebody else is doing to heal from their experiences. So that's number one. Number two, I kind of feel like when Kai said when you look at your scars and you're healing or you've healed from something, it kind of changes you, right? You start to approach things differently, or, you start to listen. Like for me, when I overcame a traumatic experience and I start to see the similar signs, or I start to feel the same feelings that I felt in that previous situation, I listen to it. I move differently. I don't ignore it now. So sometimes that's a good change, right? You're shifting from ignoring yourself, your intuition, your feelings, your thoughts, your intuitive, you know, identity, your intuition basically. You're not ignoring that anymore. If you see something, red flag, something makes you feel off, you're listening to it, that's a change for the better, right? Sometimes some people that are going through healing or they're initiating or trying to start to dive deeper into why they do the things that they do or how something has impacted them will allow those scars, those experiences to change them for the worse. So like we always talk about, remaining pure. If a person constantly gets hurt, disrespected, used, mistreated, that could potentially make them want to turn bad. Like, okay, you want to do this? I'm going to do it to you before you do it to me. Oh, you want to talk to me like this? Okay, well, I'm going to issue on you before you issue on me. Like, that could be a change for the worse. Some people also use their scars as an excuse to do dirt. So you have to keep an eye out for that. Like, making sure that throughout your healing journey, you're actually healing, right? Not just saying, oh, I'm going through the healing process. I'm healing my scars. I'm healing my wounds. And realize it looks different for everybody. And realizing that you cannot use, oh, I'm healing as an excuse or as a crutch to continue to do trash behavior or be a trash individual. Like you actually have to align your actions with what you're saying. I hope that makes sense. Like, stop thinking that just because you say you healing, that also negates or erases all the bad that you've done to other people, all the bad that you said, all your impure intentions, all the things that you've done to intentionally hurt people. It doesn't erase just because you decide, okay, you look at yourself, you realize you need to heal, and you're actively doing the work to heal. That doesn't mean that what you've done in your unhealed state is erased. So if you go to people that you've hurt in your unhealed state and you realize, listen, I was XYZ, I was trying to avoid myself, I was trying to avoid those feelings, XYZ, okay, cool. But I think a lot of people with ill intentions that finally decide to heal and do the work to heal, then come back to the people that they've hurt and get mad when they do not want anything to do with them. Like, okay, I'm happy that you're healing. I'm happy that you're putting in the work. I appreciate your apology. However, I want nothing to do with you because of my experience with you in your unhealed state. You can't be mad at that. So I just feel like let's be realistic about what it means to heal. Stop comparing your healing journey to other people's healing journey. And then accept the fact that just because you're healing or have healed from certain things, you also have to account for, answer for, or deal with and live with the fact that not everybody will accept you in your now healed identity, because they experienced a different version of you in the past. And you have to be okay with that. Like, okay, I accept that. I did that. You're right. I just wanted to come to you and apologize for ABC, let you know that, I realized the error of my ways, and I understand if you want nothing to do with me. That's all I had to say for that. Kai.
That was a good point. Very, very good point. So, um, I'm going to go back to talking about the wounds, right? So, um, we've all done it. We've had a wound and we picked it. It was healing and we picked it. So then the healing process had to start all over again because why you mess with it. So sometimes on your healing journey, you'll pick open wounds that are actually healing. Sometimes you might feel guilty for healing. Sometimes, you just can't let go of it. Sometimes you just replay those events in your head over and over and over and over again. But you have to take accountability and responsibility, and you have to redirect your thoughts. You can't let that take control of your life. You can't let, like, I get it, it happened, but it happened, is unfortunately, you can't change it. And you have to make the decision to let it heal, like let it go. And yes, like I said last time, it is easier said than done, but you have to put in the work. You have to, what do I want to say? You have to be aware of your thoughts. A lot of people say it's hard for them to meditate because they get lost in their thoughts and their mind just start running. That's the whole point, to control and quiet those thoughts. Don't let those thoughts take over. Like, you have to accept it. And sometimes that could be the hardest part, is acceptance. Accepting that certain things happen to you. You have to accept it. You have to accept that you have this scar, and you have to let it heal, because if you pick it, it's never going to heal. You're going to make that healing process longer. So what is it that you should do to heal? Like Dr. Chris said earlier, get therapy, get a therapist, find a spiritual advisor, find a friend, a family member, somebody that's trusted that you can talk to, write it down, find a hobby, find a release for it, and just don't let that define your life. So yeah, you may have these third-degree burns, and yes, it has left this major impact on your life, but your life is not over. Yes, you may not look the same. No, you probably may not want to expose that part of your body anymore, and that's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to you don't have to be vulnerable with people with certain things if you don't want to. You don't have to talk about certain things if you don't want to. Your healing journey is your healing journey, and just like Nipsey Hussle said, life is a marathon. And don't get a marathon confused with something that doesn't end, because a marathon has an end. The difference between a marathon and the difference between a race is, one, you're in competition with somebody. A race, you're trying to beat the other people that's running with you. In a marathon, you just going at your own pace, and you just making sure that you get across the finish line. It don't matter if you cross the finish line first, second, third, or last. But in a marathon, you just doing it for you. And in a race, you're doing it to win. And I know for me personally, I'm not in a race. I'm not in a competition with nobody. I'm just creating a life that I want to create. And I'm excited. Like I said in the last live, stay excited about it. I'm staying excited about it. Don't mean that you're being fake because you're excited about what you're creating. My past ain't gonna steal the joy that I have today. Anything that I went through in the past, that's not going to stop me from being who I want to be. It's not going to do. I refuse to allow my past to hold me back. It's not going to happen. And I really hope, that anybody that sees this, I hope that you do the same. Don't let your past don't define you. It happened to you, but it doesn't change who you are. Like, it may change who you are, but y'all know what I'm saying. But you know how some people is, they be trying to cherry pick, because don't take what I'm saying out of context. So, focus on yourself and continue to nurture that wound. Do whatever it is that you need to do to heal yourself. But don't bleed on the next person because you picking up open wounds. Don't bleed on the next person because they have healed in that area. And even though they may have healed in a few areas, that don't mean that they're not healing in another area. And if they have healed in certain areas, let them people be happy about it. They worked hard to heal. Let them people celebrate. Let them people enjoy their life. Let them people celebrate life today. But don't bleed on the next person. Don't be bitter and don't project, just because you still healing and you're still going through something. We just want y'all to get the help that y'all need to heal these traumas and these wounds. That's why we have the mental health specialists on here. That's why we like to invite men to come on here and talk, because men listen to men. Yeah, men, it's different here and stuff from a woman's point of view, but men listen to men. So, that's all I got to say, Dr. Chris.
I could definitely speak to the bitter projection part. You know, again, I will always say we cannot talk about or encourage you about anything that we have never overcome or experienced. There was a point in my journey where I compared. I spoke negatively to myself. I should be over it by now. It happened years ago. Get over it. And I realized a lot of the things that I went through and have overcome, you know, I had to take accountability for it. I had to accept that it happened. And I think acceptance is one of the hardest parts of healing because it forces you to look at it again, um, and really evaluate your behavior, right? Your behavior, your actions, your intentions, your words. Like you are assessing yourself. And sometimes you don't like what you see. And instead of accepting that, like, yeah, I really could have handled that better. Why did I say that? Why did I do that? Why did I react that way? Sometimes we like to blame others. Sometimes, like I said, we compare what we see other people doing in their healing journey, and they might look good. And dang, I wish I could do that. Why can't I do that? And you, like Kai say, you project. You're upset when you see people, you see it as bragging, them bragging about how happy and loving and love and light they carry. But you don't know how long they've been healing. You don't know where you are meeting them, what part of the journey you are seeing them at. You don't know how many nights they cried themselves to sleep. You don't know how many times they've, fought against suicidal thoughts. You don't know how many times they had to disconnect from their family, from their friends. They had to disappear. You don't know. So you cannot have the perspective or look at them like they flexing or like they're pretending. Like I said, let them celebrate, because you don't know how many times they could have gave up. And I'm not talking about giving up on healing. I'm talking about giving up on life, ended it all. So if they want to share status, y'all, I went a whole week without crying. I went a whole day without smoking. You don't let them. And if it's triggering for you feeling some type of way about them celebrating a milestone that they hit in their healing journey, then that means there's something within you that you need to look at. Something that their healing triggers within you that you are avoiding. And so you're projecting. And so you're coming off as a hater, coming off as bitter, coming off as I can't do it, so why should she? Or why can he? And that's not cool. It's not cool. So I would just say, just reevaluate where those feelings are coming from, why seeing other people do well or progress or, be okay is insulting to you, and dive deeper into that, because it's not the people, it's you. Another thing I wanted to say is, things that have happened, it helped me see that it happened for me. There are some things that, again, I have to take accountability for and responsibility for, and really assess and evaluate how I did things, how I was involved in my own pain, which was hard, but also realizing that everything that I have overcome was happening for me. I just told Kai this the other day. I was like, you know, early November was really rough for me. I ain't gonna lie, put it out there. Early November was really rough because a lot of the things that I had experienced and a lot of the people that I had to disconnect from, November is their month, you know? And so it's like, dang, I remember on this exact day, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where I was mentally, emotionally, spiritually, like, and now I look at me on those exact days, 2 years later, 3 years later, and I'm like, dang, I've grown so much. And it just made me so happy. And I was like, at first I was a little low, like a little down, like, dang, I can't believe I even allowed myself to get in that situation or just endure that. Like, now that I know who I am and whose I am and the value that I add to people's lives and the energy that I carry, like, how could I allow like, why did I let that happen for so long? But then it's like, girl, look at you now. Look at you now, girl. Like, you a whole during that time, I was going through graduate school. I'm done with graduate school now. I'm a whole doctor now, right? During that time, I was so hurt. I was so broken. I was spiritually just low, right? And now you can't tell me nothing. Like, you cannot tell me nothing. And I'm happy, and I'm taking control of my life, and my peace is my priority. Like, if at any point in time where I feel like you're trying to take my peace from me, I have no issue removing myself and not feeling guilty for it. Oh, you want to play them type of games? You can play them by yourself. It takes two to play a game. And if I walk away, if I remove myself, if I remove my energy, you're going to be playing by yourself. I look at this time, that early November, this time last year, previous year, where I used to let people talk to me crazy. I used to, exactly, I had absolutely no boundaries. And now it's like, I'm putting up boundaries and I'm not apologizing. Either you're going to hear to them or you're not. And if you're not, exit stage left. And I'm okay with not having you here. Like, it's just, when you reflect, it brings you so much joy. And especially the people that have seen you in those weakened states, and then you share with a friend, you remember when XYZ, or you look back at pictures and you show your friend and they be like, oh girl, I could see now. I could look in your eyes and see where you were. And it's like, just because a person's smiling, that don't mean they're not in pain. So it's just like, when you reflect and you see your growth, you're excited. You want to share it. And not everybody is on that vibe. Not everyone will like it. Like you say in the comments, thank you for that. Not everybody is going to like that. And that is going to tell you who your haters really are. Like, if they like seeing you in pain and they get mad when you're sharing a milestone or you've overcome a trial or something, or something that would typically trip you up, you don't let it trip you up the third, fourth, 50 million time around. You finally gotten over it. and healed from it and they mad about it? Oh, so you like when I'm in pain. You like when I'm unhealed. You like when I'm struggling with something. And it just makes it easier for you to be like, oh, you're not supposed to be in this chapter. Yeah, you were in the past chapters, but are you supposed to come with me to the next level? So I was just like, pay attention to that. I would be happy about where you're progressing from. Even if it's, oh, I used to smoke a pack of cigarettes every day. Now I only smoke a pack a week. Congratulations. Celebrate that. I'm proud of you. Anybody that's talking about, well, I remember when you used to bringing up the past about what you used to do. That's the ones you have to watch. So, okay.
Girl, yes, nothing but haters, okay? Nothing but haters. You gotta clear them out. Clear them out. Clear them out. Let it rain. Clear it out. So, um, and another thing I wanted to touch on, people don't have to share the ugly parts of their healing journeys if they don't want to. Like, it's okay. Like, I know a lot of time, sometimes, people will go through stuff and then they just come out, pop out. You know what I'm saying? They, better than ever. Or what Shakiri said, I'm not back, I'm better. Some people just be coming back better. You know what I'm saying? And just because they didn't talk about, what they went through, or, the struggles that they went through in healing to get themselves better, that shouldn't discourage you from working on yourself. If you keep looking outside of yourself for somebody else to validate your healing journey, then you're doing it all wrong. Nobody don't have to share their stories with y'all like Dr. Chris and I share our stories. We don't have to do this. We could have just popped out one day. You know what I'm saying? But we did it because we wanted to. But people don't owe you nothing. It's up to you to get you where you need to be on your journey, not nobody else. So that was something else that I wanted to talk about. So another analogy. You have two animals, right? And these animals have to cross a river, right? So you have a giraffe and you have a dog. For the dog, the journey may be so hard because they have to fight against all of those currents. Their feet can't touch the ground, or they trying to keep their head above water, trying to cross that river. But the giraffe is just a piece of cake. They just walking through the water like it's nothing. So they took the same route, but the experience for both animals was different. So you can't compare your journey to somebody else's. Just because something is harder for you, that don't mean that it's going to be hard for everybody else. And just because it was easier for you, that don't mean that it's going to be easy for everybody else. But you just have to focus on yourself and getting yourself through the freaking water to get to the other side. But you can't get mad at the giraffe because it's not hard for them. You can't get mad because that's not that giraffe fault. You just have to keep focusing on you and get yourself across. And then once you do get across, tell your story. Then you tell other people how you got across. You tell the other dogs. That dog gonna be able to tell the other dogs, well, look, this is what I had to do to keep my head above water. This is what I had to do to get across to the other side. And then the giraffe may have to tell another giraffe, well, look, yeah, it wasn't too bad, but they did have a few parts that was a little deep. So you may need to go a different way if you want to avoid, going off, in the deeper end. But instructions are going to be different. It's just like you in a car with somebody. You have a driver and you have a passenger. Y'all are in the same car. Y'all going to the same place, but yet both of y'all experiences are different because the driver is driving. They have to pay attention. They're navigating, and you just doing whatever you want to do, looking out the window on your phone. Y'all have two totally different experiences, and y'all cannot compare y'all experiences. For the driver, it might be a smooth ride, a smooth trip. For the passenger, they might be like, this motherfucker can't drive. You know what I'm saying? And so, just keep an open mind and just don't compare your healing to somebody else's. Don't compare your journey to somebody else's. Maybe you should ask that person, well, look, I see that you are happy. I see that you have gotten through it. So what can I do? Or what did you do? Instead of getting mad at that person, just ask if you're not too prideful. Because you don't want to let your pride get in the way. Because that pride and that ego is a motherfucker. It really is. So when you learn, you might get triggered, but it's up to you on how you react. How you react, you trying to project onto somebody else and try to make other people, feel how you feel. That's more of a reflection on your character than it is on theirs. Why are you trying to bring this person down and make this person feel bad for feeling good, for being happy? That's a reflection on your character. So maybe you should go work on that. And it definitely takes strength to be vulnerable. People think that vulnerability, is weak, but it's not. That takes strength because you know that you could get hurt. You know the possibilities. But guess what? You still decide to take that leap. You still decide to take that chance and put yourself out there and be like, well, you know what? I ain't gonna know if I don't try. So don't get mad at the person that's trying. Don't get mad at the person that's putting forth the effort. Don't get mad at that next person for being happy. Don't do that. Because we was talking about keeping the vibes high. That's not high vibrational. Ma'am, Sir Brusses, it's not high vibrational. We high vibrational. We vibrating high. Yes. Right. Because you built like that if you have to exactly. Yes. It's just like I don't know, man. It's just I be seeing so much stuff, and we just we just want help. Like that's it. We just want help. That's it. That's all. You and just because you're going through something, that don't mean that you can't be happy while you're going through the storm. That don't mean you can't be happy because your situation, your environment shouldn't alter your mood. It shouldn't. I mean, it can. I'm not saying that it won't, but once you get to that place and you realize and you are aware of energy, and you are conscious of the vibration that we carry, once you realize that, you're going to make an effort to stay in a certain mood. And no, you may not stay in that same frequency 24/7. That's not what we're saying. But the goal is to get back right to that high vibration as soon as you can. Don't stay vibrating low. Get back up as soon as you can. Have your moment. But be like, you know what? I know that I got to be on that energy to attract the things that's on that frequency. So I ain't going to attract it if I'm vibrating low and everything I want is vibrating high. So I got to get it together. What do I have to release? What else do I have to heal? What do I have to work on? And then that's what you want to do. You want to shift your focus and you want to work on transmuting that energy. Oh, I know I said this before, but we really do need to get that episode for talk about transmuting energy. That's all I got to say for right now, Dr. Chris.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back because you said some good things, and I was like, oh yes, about the pride thing. Like a lot of people that are operating out of pride, they feel like I don't need help. Ain't nothing you could tell me. You don't know nothing about my life. You don't know nothing about my experiences. The little stuff you healing from, that ain't nothing. Wait till you hear about what I got going on. Wait till you hear about what I've been through. Wait till you hear what they did to me. And it's like, pride will be your downfall. When it comes to healing, you can't be operating from a place of pride, because you don't know what somebody got to pour into you. You don't know how somebody can speak to the king or queen in you. You don't know what they've overcome and how they can assist you before you prejudging them and what they've experienced and what they've overcome and been through. So allowing your pride to dictate your movements, to let them make your pride say, oh, you don't know me, you don't understand me. You're right, because you're not allowing yourself to be understood. You're not facilitating or allowing an environment conducive for anyone to get close to you to try and understand you. Anytime somebody tries to pour into you, you hurt them intentionally. Okay? You intentionally block any assistance and then get mad when you don't get assisted. How does that make sense? Help me understand how you know you need help. You know you can't do it by yourself. And yet you push everybody away. And then get mad when you have nobody to help you. Help me understand. The math ain't mathing. The sense ain't sensing. Like, another thing is like Kai say, being vulnerable is strength. Being able to put yourself out there and share your story, share your pain, talk about what you've overcome and have healed from and are healing from isn't weak. A lot of us have grown up with the mindset or the idea that you keep your business in-house. What happens in this house stays in this house. And that just perpetuates toxicity and pain. And, that's why we got a lot of people running around acting like they have, okay, because they have been forced to withhold their truth. They can't speak about their pain. And if they have spoken about their pain, it has been used against them, right? It's been thrown in their face. It's been used as a weapon against them to hurt them even more. It's been weaponized, as an attack mechanism to make them weaker. But being transparent requires safety, emotional, mental, spiritual safety. And that is the objective of this platform, because we have both experienced pain where we felt like we didn't have a safe space to deal with it and process it and heal from it without it being used against us in some way. We didn't have the space to talk about it. And so we wanted to create that space for not just us. Us putting ourselves out there, we were scared. We were fearful. Listen, for me, it was more so for being judged. Like, oh, you're a doctor and you talking about what you done been through. You should have it together. You don't uphold the idea of what we thought a doctor would be. You ain't supposed to go through no pain. You ain't really been through nothing. All you did was school. You don't know what I've been through. I mean, you kind of know now, but that's only a snippet of everything that I've had to go through. But it's like I was very fearful of being judged by people, what they would say about me, how they would look at me, what they would think about me. And when you're healing, you get to a point where you don't care, because none of y'all can judge me. Okay? Because we all going through something. We all have things that we need to deal with and heal from and, you know, release. I'm no different from you. Yes, I've experienced life differently or from a different perspective. I've had a different experience when it comes to life in general. But you can't judge me and look down on me. Are you perfect? No. So it's like once you've accepted that part and you're actually on the journey and you're putting in the work and you're networking with people that are also putting in the work and you're willing and able to express yourself freely without judgment or fear of being judged or fearing that you're gonna lose people ain't gonna want to be bothered with you, they're gonna talk about you. Like I said in previous episodes, they're gonna talk about you regardless, whether you're doing good, whether you're doing bad, whether you got this, whether you don't. Like, it doesn't matter. Are you healing for other people or are you healing for you? So I just feel like you have to be around people that make you feel safe. And if at any time you feel like you have to hide your pain or hide pieces of yourself that you feel are dirty and nasty and you can't reveal that and you can't be transparent and you have to bury that part, and do you need to be around those type of people? Is that going to help you in healing if you're only taking certain pieces out? It's still there. So that's all I had to say about that. Guy?
Girl. Okay, so you said something and I had a thought, but then it just slipped my mind. I'm so angry about that. But anywho, so when you're healing, um, don't put the next person down. Like, you shouldn't have to put another person down to make you feel better on your journey. Like, if you have to do that, you got a whole lot of work to do. If you feel like you have to put somebody else down just so you can feel good about yourself, like, that's not cool. It's not cool at all. And, you know, I just want to make this clear. Like, we just talking about the real. Like, we your friends, we your cousins or whatever, that's gonna hold you accountable. You know, I'm not the one that's gonna, sit here, baby fire, sugarcoat. You gonna hit a real. You gonna hit a raw. You gonna hit a real. Cause since everybody be being fake, you're gonna hit a real. That's what we gonna do. We gonna talk about it. So yeah, you shouldn't have to do that. Like, if you gotta put the next person down, you gotta sit back and you gotta do some self-evaluation. Like, what is it inside of me that's making me feel this way? Why do I feel like I have to put the next person down to feel good about myself and my journey? Like Dr. Chris said earlier, comparison is the thief of joy. If think about how what we talked about earlier, you in a race. The only person that's really, really happy is the person that won. And everybody else, some people, they really get upset that they didn't win first place. You're not even looking at the fact that you completed the race. You just mad because you didn't do it before this other person did. And again, that's the difference between a race and a marathon. You're not in competition with anybody in this marathon. In life, it's a marathon. You're not in competition with nobody. Everything that you're doing is about you, not about what the next person do. When you stop and you look at the person that's on side of you, you're going to slow yourself down. They're going to have the chance to pass you up because you're too busy worrying about what they're doing. And they doing the same thing. Them people worrying about what they're doing too. And you worrying about what they're doing. So both of y'all got something in common. Y'all worrying about them. But you got to worry about yourself. So get the therapy, the counseling, get your journal, whatever it is you need to do on a spiritual retreat, join a church, baby, whatever you got to do to heal. I want you to do it, and I wish any and everybody that's on this healing journey, I just wish y'all nothing but success, on your own journey, strength, love, peace, support. If y'all have any questions, y'all can always, hit me or Dr. Chris up in our inbox. Like, we don't mind talking to people. I get messages from people often. So I definitely don't mind. If you want to book a consultation, that's fine. If you want to, see if we know any therapists, that's fine. Whatever you have to do, it works for you. Because what works for me may not work for you. So you have to find what works for you. And once you find it, stick to it. And don't let nobody tell you nothing different. Find what works for you. And if you're doing something and it don't work for you, it's okay to stop doing what doesn't work for you. It's okay to start over and to keep searching until you do find the path that's going to take you to where you need to go. Ain't nothing wrong with starting over. Ain't nothing wrong with looking for something different. Nothing is wrong with that. I think it's kind of crazy if you know something not working for you and you just stay there. So don't worry about what nobody have to say. Put yourself first, one foot in front of the other, one day at a time, minute by minute, hour by hour, second by second. And that's really all I have to say on this title, on this topic. I really don't have nothing else to say. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Chris. If you want to close, or if you have any, thing that you want to say, any words of encouragement that you want to do, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to you.
Well, friend, I think you did the encouragement. I don't need to do no. Y'all need more encouragement. I'm always willing to encourage. Okay, so just to reiterate what Kai said, it's like it's you against you. You know, you got to worry about you. And I know a lot of times you've been taught a a couple people have said.
Hold on, friend. It was breaking up real bad. It was like real choppy. It was pixelated. We couldn't hear anything you
Oh,
said.
I'm sorry. Y'all can see me now?
You still pixelated, but you sound better. We can actually hear you better.
Oh, friend, I don't know what's going on, but I was just saying, it's you against you, and you may have been told that that's selfish to think about what you got going on and to worry about you and trying to get yourself together. And I'm here to tell you that it's not. Um, it's so full to handle what you got to handle so that you can show up fully for not only yourself but for other people. You can't continue to pour from an empty vessel. If you're not right, how you gonna be there for other people? You gotta be there for yourself first before you talking about showing up for somebody else. So pour into you, get you together. That's something I had to learn. And the real gonna understand, the people that truly love and value you, when you tell them, listen, I'm going through something, I gotta get myself together, they're gonna understand. All right, friend, take all the time you need. I'm here when you're ready. And if they don't understand that, are they truly for you? Do they truly love and value you? If you gotta constantly explain, listen, I'm going through something. I'm really hurt. I need some time, and they upset because you can't do what you typically would do, put yourself on the back burner and worry about them, then it's time for some reevaluation, ain't it? So focus on you, worry about you, and heal for you. That's it. Kai, you got anything?
Yes, I almost forgot our daily affirmation. So, our daily affirmation today comes from Think Up. And there's actually two that I found. They had a list, but I found two that really went well with the topic. So the first affirmation is every emotion is legitimate. I let myself be happy, sad, frustrated, and hurt. This is my experience and I'm accepting it. The second affirmation is each day I am creating a more meaningful life. So, yes, even though you may have all of those emotions, you still want to don't let those emotions, the negative emotions, stop you from creating a more meaningful life. Feel it, go through it, grow through it. And that's all I have to say. Dr. Chris, when we coming back?
Let me see. Let me see. Let me pull up the calendar. Oh, wow. December 2nd. December 2nd.
All right. So we're gonna see y'all December 2nd, same time, same place, the same vibes. Y'all know what it is. Ew. Bye y'all. And thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all so much for joining. We really love and appreciate y'all. Like, share, subscribe.